$84? Are they? This armor is $84. Greetings, gamers everywhere. I'm Swip92, and I'm talking about again microtransactions in free-to-plays, but this time more overall. In a previous video, if you have seen that, I talked about the PoE to microtransaction store, or Path of Exile to microtransaction store. And that store now stands for macro transactions in my mind. Anyway, you might have an inkling if you have seen that video of what this video will be about. But I guess I should say this in the beginning, because saying it late into the video, well, chances are you'll miss it. Yes, every transaction done in relation to a game is a choice, including if you want to spend money on overpriced JPEGs or gifs, which is basically what skins basically are. They're either a standalone JPEG that's just plastered onto your character, or it's a GIF with a repeating pattern animation on it, depending on what you buy and how much you pay for it. Now, I myself have bought a few in-game skins in my life. Mostly I would guess that would be for League of Legends back in the day. Jesus, I'm old. That was a long time ago I did that. Wow. Anyway, I think the total cost that I put into microtransactions like skins, I don't think it exceeds $100. It might if you include the battle passes I've bought. Haven't bought a lot of those, but if you include every little thing, then maybe I go over $100 total. But that's over a pretty long period of time. Now, what is important as well to mention here is that I'm not faulting people for buying skins and supporting developers through such means as microtransactions. I don't like free-to-play games that much, because I think a lot of these games collapse because of the community that eventually does take over. Now, this is not true for all free-to-play games, but in a lot of free-to-play games, the games can be good or even great the first months, and then one group takes over. But some games can survive, of course, for years before this happens, but eventually, in most cases, one group will be the dominant one. Now, that group being the most tenacious, maybe, or it could be the hardcore gamers, or maybe the superfan group, or whatever you want to call them, or it will be the annoying kids group, depending on game, and last but not least, the cheater group. And I'm guessing you all know what I mean by that. Now, of course, another part for faulting games, or is the fact that I don't like free-to-play games, is the microtransactions. But as I was so gently reminded in my Path of Exile 2 video, microtransactions are a choice. And as I stated in the beginning of this video, yeah, I know. I also stated that in the Path of Exile 2 video, but people didn't get that far into the video before, well, accusing me of not knowing that. No, they didn't accuse me, but I couldn't find a better word for it right now. Anyway, the big question in my mind is the question of the title of this video. Should free-to-play games be excused for having very overpriced items in their store? Now, exactly what that overprice is, well, that's different of course from game to game, but we can all agree that overpriced microtransactions is not beneficial for the developers. In 99% of cases, I would argue, it doesn't go well for developers. Just recently I saw a Game Ranks video talking about this, and they did mention, for example, Destiny 2 and Apex Legends, and also a few others games in that video that have microtransactions that have just gone over the top, and then basically the community revolts. Now, of course, some comments on my Path of Exile 2 video were a bit, I don't know what to call it, really. They basically said that we should just let the whales do their thing and enjoy the game. And fair enough, you might think. I mean, it's their choice to spend that money that they've earned, I guess. Uh, that's true, it's completely true, but morally, I mean, in my heart of hearts, or something like that, I have a hard time defending something that knowingly takes advantage of a small percentage of the player base and their basically psychological issues that they have. Not all whales have the same issue, of course. Many can probably control their spending to an extent but that doesn't excuse the prices though. Now we'll go into the whole whale thing later on, but just in case you don't know what a whale is in the gaming community, it's basically someone who spends a lot of money on microtransactions. And what makes you a whale? Well, that's debatable. Some spend a small amount every month, some spend a big amount every month. Some spend their life savings on microtransactions and basically take out loans to buy microtransactions. So yeah, the arc is very wide. To come back to that question of if free-to-play games should be excused from having overpriced microtransactions, then if free-to-play games can be excused for that, why can't we forgive $60 games for having microtransactions? I mean, of course, some $60 game have microtransactions that are just overpriced and just plain ridiculous, just like free-to-play games. But for those who have basic microtransactions, where maybe you buy a battle pass and you get a lot of things, of course that is if only if you play the game. So I guess that's a bad way of excusing it. But let's say a game like Assassin's Creed, or the newer Assassin's Creed, where you can buy skins. I haven't checked fully on the prices because I don't care about the prices. Or rather, I don't look at the prices because I don't buy stuff. But let's take Assassin's Creed for example. They have microtransactions, it's a full price game. Why aren't they excused from having microtransactions? It's still a choice, isn't it? In both types of game, it's a 100% your choice to buy the skins or whatnot. Maybe they have other things in there too. So why can't we just gloss over a microtransaction in a full-priced game just like we can with free-to-play games? That's my second question, basically. Now, one argument is, of course, the fact that the free-to-play games needs an income of some kind, and that's a good argument, I'm not gonna lie. It's a good argument, but if it's a good game, then the developers do deserve getting money for it. But when we go back to what I previously talked about, the whales, if you look into the term whales related to games, you mostly get the 2% of gamers figure. And while a much bigger number of players do spend money on microtransactions, it's the whales that makes it profitable. It makes the whole industry of microtransactions profitable. And even to the point of it being worth approximately $50 billion. $50 billion. That's with, I was going to say 6 zeros behind it, but it's 9 zeros. 50 with 9 zeros behind it. Now, these articles I've screenshotted here that you can see is from a pretty quick Google search, and it's hard to know how reliable the research and surveys are, so I do say 50 billion, but it's not like set in stone there. But plus, there are a lot of variables to take into account, like with this one, 82% of US gamers made a purchase in a game. Like, okay, but that could be any kind of purchase. It could be a $1 purchase, it can be a 50-cent purchase even. I mean, it's not gonna break their wallet if it's just that kind of low thing. I'm also taking into account that many of these surveys probably do take into account mobile games, I'm guessing at least. So even if it does specify video gaming, but I'm guessing it could include both PC games, console, and then why not also mobile games, which is a whole nother matter entirely. That I'm not gonna touch on mobile games and their crazy dealings. This video would be way too long for that. Now, the bottom line here really is that I wonder if a full-priced game or a $40 game with smaller real microtransactions. I say real microtransaction in the way that they are really small transactions, not macro transactions, not $20 for one item, maybe not even $10 for an item, smaller, like $5. I don't know, even smaller than that. That kind of microtransactions I maybe could get behind depending on what I get for it, of course, but would that be more profitable? I'm talking about live service games, of course, not single player games. I'm talking games like Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Path of Exile, or Helldivers, not like those games. Now, of course, if a live service game is bad, then it's bad, like Avengers and countless others, Concord. Now, the game needs to be good, of course, to sell and for players to support it. So, yeah, and to support it for years, especially with microtransactions, there has to be updates and maybe even expansions like in Diablo 4. Now, I would say that their Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred DLC, or rather expansion, was a bit much at $40, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do? I didn't pay $40 for it. I waited for a sale actually. But anyway, of course, smaller prices doesn't stop whales from spending life savings. I mean, they're still gonna spend the money that they can or feel like they have to or want to. I might not be a big spender on that, but for a good game, I can definitely myself be persuaded to open my wallet for a reasonable price. Although, again, it's not gonna stop the whales from spending maybe their life savings. And honestly, I'm pretty sure that many of the thoughts and comments to this video is that spending money is a choice in a game. But is it a choice for a whale? For a gaming whale, is it a choice? So this will be the last question that I'll ask, and that is, who do you blame? The drug user or the drug dealer? Now, this might sound a little bit over the top, I know, but spending the money, getting the item, using them, and then do it all over again, over and over and over and over, just to get a fix. That's an addiction. And I've seen this myself, not in my... Okay, maybe with soda. Okay, I can get on that. But mainly I've seen it in my family, not heavy drugs, but smoking mostly. Now, these whales, let's go back to the whales and not my family. Now, they can, as I said earlier, they can spend anywhere between $100 or $500 or possibly more per month to get that fix. And that is what they want. That is an addiction. Much like gambling in casinos, smoking and alcohol, there are those who are completely addicted to one or more things in this category, that is. Now, these people need help, but as online casinos are more common, it's difficult to catch those that need help, and this goes same for the whales. That is in games, because they're behind a desk, they're behind a screen. You can't see them, you can't hear them, but they need help. Is society and the world perfect? No. Hell no, even. But should games really contribute to this? I will say that microtransactions are here. They're probably here to stay. Let's just not hope they conquer as well. Well, that's all I got for this video. I've been Swippin92. Have a great life and hope to see you in future videos. What are your thoughts on the microtransaction dilemma? Or anything you like to add to this little debate? Put it down in the comments. Bye bye.